Hey guys, welcome back. So today I want to be very brief with you on one thing that I noticed years ago in my life that has had a tremendous impact on my life, and that is the power of smiling, the influence of smiling. So I can recall back around 2012, well, I started college around 2010, undergrad. I joined with this thought that I was a bit socially awkward because a lot of people have been telling me up until those years that I was very quiet. I always get those questions of why are you so quiet or why are you so shy and those sorts of things. And that really got to me to the point that it made me think that I was socially awkward. It made me think that it was a little bit more difficult to speak to others than it actually was. And I remember a couple years after that, around 2012 was when I first started smiling a little bit more. And I don't know what made me do this. I feel like it had something to do with something I was reading online. And it said to just smile a little bit more. So I started practicing that, and I noticed immediately just how easy it was to talk to people. I noticed immediately just how how much people seem to enjoy speaking to me a little bit more when I did that. Usually I'd walk around campus with a fairly serious look on my face. I do that now with wherever I'm at, kind of usually in my mind a lot of times. But I noticed that once I started smiling a little bit more, once I started making an effort to just say hi or hey and speak to people, even if it was just strangers, other students or whoever, that I noticed that everything changed. Everything began to change. And I'd like to believe that the reason why that happened is because, well, when you carry a lot of times, your facial expressions do have an effect on how you feel. There's some sort of science behind this. I don't know exactly 100% of the details of that, but I think there's science behind, how the facial expression that you have can have an effect on your mood. And I've practiced this myself with sometimes when I've been in a bad mood, I just try to smile a little bit and then, try to think or be aware of my thoughts and see how much of a difference that it can make. But anyways, there's some sort of science behind this about how, the muscles in your face can affect how you feel. So I think that that's the underlying cause of how things begin to change at that point in time. Because, again, basically, I was able to be a little bit more confident in myself. I was able to, and one of the major reasons why I guess I had trouble with this before was I had a gap. Now, if you go back on some of my videos of about 2018 before August, you'll probably see that I had a fairly decent sized gap. And that was something that, other people used to kind of pick on me about in school. I used to have slight discoloration of my teeth due to, I guess, a lack of enamel. And that's something that you may even notice now. But, back then, that was one of those things that a lot of people used to kind of pick on me on, especially in high school and, middle school and all those things, pretty much all, my entire life up until that point in time. And that really had an effect on my confidence. That really had an effect on my self-esteem, how I felt about myself. And that resulted in me, every time I'd smile, I would not show teeth. And every time I'd talk around people, I would try to avoid letting them see, my teeth or whatever. So yeah, when I really kind of begin to, to kind of get more in tune with myself, as I say, the 2012 was a very important year for me for many reasons. I don't have to go into those details in this video. I've done it in previous ones. But 2012 was a very significant year for my life. And it was also, like I said, the year that I began to smile a little bit more. I began to, to say to myself, you know what, man, there's nothing wrong with you. Maybe you're just reserved. And I think that that's one of the things that I realized, that I was just a little bit more reserved. And I began to realize, that that's just, a lot of the characteristics about me and traits about me are just because I'm an introvert. So, I began to get a little bit more confident in myself. I began to, like I said, smile a little bit more. I began to immediately make friends. I began to immediately, get more comfortable talking to people. And I think that people naturally kind of enjoyed, being around me just because, at that point in time when I smiled or when I laughed, I did not hold back. I did not try to moderate, how I expressed myself. I did not try to, to make that or, to affect or to shape the way that I did, kind of smile around people or talk around people. And that really, it basically allowed me to kind of open up and be 100% of myself for the most part. So I think that that's the major thing. And I say that because, even to this day, even as an adult, there are plenty of situations where this can benefit you. There are plenty of situations where I've noticed this has benefited me. Even if, now during the current times, for example, with the pandemic and all this sort of stuff, we may be doing things a little bit more virtual as it is. We may be doing things a little bit more on the phone calls. We may have phone calls with people, important phone calls. And, one of the things is, if you want to sort of affect the mood of that, be your authentic self. The thing is, you can't really get those cues off, or you can't see those physical cues in other people to kind of see what they're thinking or whatever, or they can't see that in you. But practice this. Just smile, even on a phone call. If you're talking to someone, be aware of what your facial expression is. If you can, smile. If you're having an interview or an important conversation with someone and you want to come off as positive, and as yourself, kind of just flow naturally, smile. If you don't want to sound mean with someone, smile. If you're in a bad mood during the day, or, and, you're just feeling down or something like that, just practice smiling a little bit more. Walking, just randomly or whatever. And this is just an addition onto that. Practice, kind of speaking to people, just saying, hey, hi, how you doing? And things like that. These sorts of things just really have a positive effect on you, because, you begin to feel a bit more positively internally, and that radiates outwardly. And that's one of the things that people just love, being around people that radiate positive energy. And again, I really wouldn't have realized this in my life if I had to have stayed into that state where I was a little bit more hesitant or a little bit scared to kind of, to show my smile fully. So it's made a tremendous impact on my life with the amount of people that I've been able to network with, friendships and all those sorts of things that have, in interviews and things like that. I truly feel that it's made a tremendous effect on my life in general. So, like I said, a very small detail. If I'm not mistaken, I think this was something that was mentioned in the book, How to Win Friends and Influence People. I don't know, it's been a while since I've read that book, but I have no doubt that it's probably one of the tips that was mentioned in there. And I don't know if people really express this as, often as it should be expressed, nowadays, the importance of smiling, the importance of, kind of being aware of what sort of energy you're putting out there. So anyways, again, it may seem very silly, it may seem very small and minute, but I can tell you that it will make a tremendous difference. I know this video is a little bit more on the random side. It's something that I did want to talk about before. So so just putting it out there. Anyways, I hope you guys have enjoyed, and until next time, catch you later.